Hi guys, before Lee Anderson lost the Tory whip, Mayor of London Sadiq Khan attacked the double standard on display within the Conservative Party. The Labour mayor explained that racism is racism and one shouldn't be treated differently to the other. Eventually Anderson was removed, but it remains to be seen if he will defect to Reform UK and what role he will have at GB News. But Anderson is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to hatred and bigotry within the Conservative Party. The likes of Priti Patel and Suella Braverman, of course, still retain their seats.
We've seen a massive increase in Islamophobia, anti-Muslim hatred over the last few months. It isn't just about my security, my family's security, my staff's security. It's about the people across our country who are at the receiving end of racism, of anti-Muslim hatred, and of Islamophobia. Racism is racism. I'm unclear why Rishi Sunak, why members of his cabinet aren't calling this out and aren't condemning this. It's like they're complicit in this sort of racism. And I think the message it sends is Muslims are fair game when it comes to racism and anti-Muslim hatred. It's not good enough in 2024 in the United Kingdom.
Do you think Muslims are safe in the UK today?
Well, the evidence over the last few months is a massive increase in anti-Semitism and a massive increase in anti-Muslim hatred. I think both are appalling. Both are shocking. Both are the scourge of our society. Just like the Conservatives claim to be on the side of Jewish people, why don't they show they're on the side of Muslim people as well? Racism is racism. There shouldn't be a hierarchy.
Well said. There shouldn't be. Now, he asked a question during this interview. Why aren't the Tories doing something about this? Why aren't the Tories calling this out? And I think it's twofold. One is that they believe that they can use Muslims as a scapegoat. And we can break that down in two ways. One is that, well, they can use them as a scapegoat for their own failures. They can say, look, society is collapsing. It's not our fault. It's because of the Muslims. That's what they can do. But it's a distraction. So, there are problems at the moment. We're losing support. How about we inject a group for the public to hate Muslims as a distraction. So I think this is what they're trying to do. And Lee Anderson, of course, was trying to tap into that. Another problem, I think, for the Conservatives is, of course, Reform UK. So they see that Reform UK has free rein in a sense. They're able to say pretty much what they want with very few consequences. And of course, they can hate on Muslims as well. But for the Conservatives, it's a bigger problem because there are, of course, Muslims within the Conservative Party. And they saw the rhetoric over the weekend directed at them. And, Lee Anderson would be, and people like Lee Anderson would, of course, say, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about Muslims in general. But they felt, of course, attacked. And they put pressure on Number 10 to do something about it, for Rishi Sunak to remove the whip from Lee Anderson. Now remember, and I said this in another video, Lee Anderson didn't lose the whip because of the comments. He lost the whip because of the reaction to the comments. So Number 10, I believe, and Rishi Sunak thought all of this would blow over. Maybe Lee would be forced into an apology and it'd be done and dusted and we could move on from this. Because they were not concerned about the actual comments. They were concerned with the actual reaction. And people within the Conservative Party, senior MPs, were saying, you're attacking Muslims here. I'm a Muslim. You're attacking me either directly or indirectly. You may think you can use the Muslim community as a tool, but you're using me as a tool as well. And I can't stand by that. I can't go back to my family and say, don't worry, we're just using it as a political tool to hit the Labour Party over the head with. We're just using it as a political tool to attack Sadiq Khan. That won't wash. That won't. The Muslim community who still vote Conservative will not find that acceptable, and they shouldn't. So, while Lee Anderson may be gone, there are still, of course, people within the Conservative Party, Suella Braverman in particular, who will continue this type of rhetoric and unfortunately get away with it. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.